Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show. I'm Matt Frazier. Set the title wrong as usual, so I got to fix that. But I'm here with Doug Hay. We got a fun show today. We're talking about the old 20 to 30 vegetables a week rule that the gut health docs like to promote. We got that and some more interesting stuff, including a new Beyond Meat product. So we will get into all that stuff and more.
And it's
Doug,
not
how
just
are we?
a smashed burger or smashed version of the same burger.
No, but it's not. Well, I mean, there's not much branching out you can do if you.
We'll get into that later. I'm doing well, Matt.
What?
I think you might have the wrong mic going. Just if you want to update that as well.
That's very possible. Right, I got all kind of messed up here.
We are clanking around here in your computer microphone, so I would switch that up. But I am doing well, Matt. I am breathing a sigh of relief today because Plantapalooza is over. While it was very fun for the last 8 days and a good experience altogether, I am happy that it's done.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Seems like a lot of people partook. So I'm glad to hear that. Always good to work with all those A-listers, the Zac Efrons of the plant-based world, you might say. So that's a good thing. All right, is my microphone fixed? Does it sound better?
Yes, I think you're all set.
All right, and headline is updated to how to get 30 plants a week? ? Like, is that really possible? I don't know. So we'll get into that in a minute. Britters is here. I don't think Britters was here yesterday. Notable absence yesterday from Britters. I noted it at least. So she'll have to explain that. Carmen, Taborlin, P99, Phyllis Hauser, Brandon Turner, and Mr. Jeffrey. Relatively small number of check-ins so far today, as well as relatively few views in general. So we'll see. Hopefully the people will trickle in. There's Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, tell us if you decided to add olive oil to your diet now that we know it is borderline irresponsible not to eat olive oil every day.
Ooh, wow, those are some fighting words right there.
I mean, 15% reduction in cardiovascular disease, coronary heart disease, all-cause mortality. I don't know. I would not be sleeping on olive oil for long. So, big questions for the Forks Over Knives community that they need to answer. This is uprooting everything they stand for potentially.
Yesterday, Katie went grocery shopping at Target, came home with a whole Oatly haul.
Oh, nice. Okay. We have some Oatly news today too. What'd you get? Was she swayed by the advertising? Is that what got her to do it?
What's that?
Was she swayed by their advertising? Is that what got her to do it?
I think it's just what they had available. We got just the original Oatly oat milk, the blue carton, which I had never had before. I don't think, and it tastes significantly different than the soy milk that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm. Is it better than other oat milks?
I don't know. I guess I don't drink just plain oat milk very much, but I made a smoothie this morning, or not a smoothie, like a protein shake, protein and creatine shake. Shout out to Compliment. And it definitely changes the flavor. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It almost tasted nuttier in some way, which doesn't make any sense to me, but
yeah, it doesn't. No, oat milk is good, and Oatly's products are good. I'm with you on that. All right. So what else? What did you get? The clean label version?
Chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
No, it was just the original, not the clean label version. We also had some Oatly ice cream, a couple flavors of Oatly ice cream, chocolate and vanilla, I think. They were delicious. Had a little bit last night.
Wow.
Yeah, had a little scoop of each last night to celebrate an accomplishment of one of my daughters. So that was fun.
Good.
I guess that was it. I guess that was the only Oatly stuff. Oh, and the cream cheese, which I actually thought was maybe because we eat Miyoko's cream cheese most of the time, and I thought that Oatly's might be my new favorite.
Okay. I don't even know if I must have known about Oatly cream cheese because we probably talked about it, but I don't remember ever having it. All right, that's good. I mean, Miyoko's has kind of a tangy taste that people are always iffy about. Mm-hmm. So this one didn't have that. Better?
It did not have that. It threw me, but took me back to good Philadelphia cream cheese, that type of flavor.
Wow.
Which the other, was it Violife? I'm not crazy about that one. It's okay. There's some of the other ones that you can get everywhere, And I always flock to Miyoko's. I just think it's a better cream cheese. But this one, this was very good.
All right, good. Speaking of bagels and cream cheese, I had a bagel yesterday. I didn't really have anything for lunch because Holden ate all the leftovers, or somebody ate the leftovers, so I didn't have lunch. So I did a move I'd like to do recently, which is get out a whole wheat bagel, toast it, put hummus on it, and then sprinkle everything bagel seasoning on it. Because we don't, everything bagels, we don't heat them around because you can only get them in like white flour versions. So I use those, Thomas's whole wheat. And they're, good. I think 9 or 11 grams of protein in one. They're decent things as long as they're not all the time. Put some hummus on there and some sprinkle this everything bagel seasoning, which I think we get from Trader Joe's. But when I put the hummus, I noticed it had sort of a darker surface on the top because it was a big container. I was like, this has probably been sitting in the fridge for a while. And so I just sort of scraped that off and like went under it. But then I started to realize that surface was a little bit pink, not just darker. And for the next like hour or about half an hour later, for an hour after that, I had a stomach ache. So I think it was bad stuff. And it felt it down in my gut. So when I started thinking about gut health today, I thought, interesting. I usually don't concern myself with gut health. Doesn't seem like something to worry about. And my stomach is usually pretty solid with almost anything, or my gut, I guess, as far as upset. And but this got to me. And that should not have eaten the red hummus. Bad idea.
Yeah, probably a bad idea. That's right. We made enchiladas for dinner last night.
Okay, very good.
Basically taking a burrito, except pouring enchilada sauce all over it and baking it.
You have told me that you made those before, and I've only probably done that 3 times at home, and it's always like kind of a mess and kind of a pain to try to fold the tortillas around the stuff upside down and get them to stay shut. You don't have a problem with that, though.
I actually find them to be incredibly easy. Incredibly easy to make, and you can make them ahead of time, which is what we did. I actually made it Monday evening, put it in the fridge, and we baked it last night.
Right.
And they're delicious. They're very good. And we use I didn't follow a recipe this time, but it's basically Oshi Glow's enchilada recipe. And we use just a store-bought enchilada sauce. Very good.
Very good. All right, good. I should try that. I mean, the idea of a good enchilada made for me sounds delicious. So I should just do the effort of making it. That sounds good. Speaking of Mexican foods, I made on Friday something I had teased earlier in the week. My Rancho Gordo beans came and I made a black bean salad recipe that they sent along. Had radishes, red cabbage, cilantro, toasted pepitas on top, a little lime vinaigrette dressing that was made relatively easy. All of it came together. And the radishes soaked in salt water is one of his moves, he says, and it actually makes them really good. So that was actually a very good thing. We ate that bean salad up rather quickly. And that was my only real food news. The only other thing I had is I realized yesterday I didn't ask you if you ate any Memorial Day, 5 Beyond sausages or something.
No, I did nothing special for Memorial Day.
That's like a couple in a row now where you guys have done nothing on the Monday holiday. I think Labor Day,
you
guys didn't, and that seems like your exact scene. Like that seems like your favorite moment there is. Would be a Monday off, get out the grill, fire up something, eat 3 or 4 vegan meat products, invite some friends over, drink some beer. What's not to like about that for you?
I mean, it's exactly my scene. I mean, it would, it's totally my scene. I mean, the thing is, we were out of town. We came back Sunday night, so from the wedding. So it was kind of
last time there was no valid reason not to do that.
Yes, I know.
Unpatriotic.
It is kind of.
All right.
So we were in the airport Sunday night, and they were doing this Southwest. I don't know if it's always Southwest, but they had, I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but Air Force vets, which Memorial Day is fallen soldiers, not just vets,
right.
But Air Force vets were coming in like really old, World War II, Vietnam, maybe not World War II. That probably isn't true. Vietnam, very old veterans. And like they had all these volunteers lined up in the terminal who clearly didn't have a ticket. Like they were there for this, and it was like a parade of veterans coming through, and like they were all like clapping for them. It's kind of this really cool thing you just stumbled upon, and a lot of them were like crying and stuff. I don't know what they were honoring, but it was cool that they did that.
That is cool. Never heard about that. Never heard of
Yeah.
such a thing. In the airport. Past security even?
Past
In the gate?
security, yeah.
Oh. Anne-Marie says she's seen that at BWI. It's nice.
Huh. Interesting.
Were you at BWI where that was?
I was not. It was the Rochester Airport.
All right. Well, good. Glad to hear it. Let's go ahead and jump into
Hold on, we got
weather.
some updates here. Anne-Marie says that she eats oil in her takeout, but not in the
Not
house.
enough. It's not enough to be healthy. I mean, if this is a health decision and not some ethical thing, I think the evidence is now to me on the side of oil. And if you're skipping it, you're making a mistake.
I would say
Seriously,
that
though,
she
Emery,
probably
you
point
can
out
have
some
however
things
you
that
want to
you
eat. Emery is fine with me. I'm not actually going to judge and say you should change how you're eating this. But no, olive oil is one that I used to think that's not a healthy food, and I more and more I'm thinking it is. Biased a little bit because it is so good and it's associated with this Mediterranean, blue zone lifestyle that I think is so appealing. But I don't know. Seems that the tide is turning there.
Yeah. And then Phyllis says that she's still working through her Planet-Palooza sessions. She must have lifetime access. That's awesome. And she's looking forward to getting her order. And thanks for participating, Phyllis.
Definitely. Wonder what her order is. She's not expecting like CDs to show up of the lifetime access. Is she?
No, I mean, her compliment. I'm sure she ordered like essential or something. And then Dylan on holiday in the car on a 21-hour car ride.
Holy cow.
No, thank you. That is a long car ride.
Yeah, that's a very long car ride. And also, Britters says she had work calls all day yesterday. And that's why she wasn't here. But that's okay. We'll let it slide this time. All right, into the weather report. We got some interesting, good little stuff today. And like I said, Oatly, we got Beyond, and we'll start off with something just as exciting as those. Nutella. Is it Nutella or Nutella? Doug? What do you say? You don't
Nutella.
say Nutella. I think it's Nutella.
Nutella.
Anyway, Nutella, Italian company Ferrero that makes this company, they have confirmed that not only are they 60 years old now, they are making a plant-based product. Nutella Plant-Based is coming, set to launch in a number of European countries. I only saw Italy confirmed, but I think this is plant-based news, said that a number of countries will be getting it. Contains milk powder in the normal version, so not suitable for vegans, although there are definitely like knockoff versions you can get, and that's always a favorite treat of my kids when he was in Spain for a while, he always said that it's like his breakfast sandwich. Not the healthiest thing he could do, but it was good. But anyway, this is cool. I mean, I'd be pretty excited to have this. I don't like these sort of things, but it has a nostalgic thing. It reminded me of my Spain time before. So I'd be interested. Is Nutella like, is that a U.S. product? People get that around here?
Oh, I don't. I mean, yeah, people get it here, but I think of it not as a U.S. thing.
But you can go to the grocery store and get it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Because for whatever reason, it's not really been on my radar in the U.S.
Because it's not vegan.
What'd you say?
Because it's not vegan.
Right. So whenever I went vegan, for whatever reason, I was not paying attention to Nutella before that, and then after vegan, now obviously I wouldn't pay attention.
I would say that's probably become more popularized post you going vegan in the last 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. That would explain it. I bet it wasn't in the U.S. that much before then.
Yeah. But it is. I'm excited about this. I think Nutella on toast or on a vegan crepe or like a Nutella wrap of some sort sounds really good as a nice little, like not as a health food, but super yummy. So I'm here for it for sure. This is good.
Yeah. So it'll be available in European countries. Hopefully we can get that version here. I don't know if we will or not, but we'll see. They say it's aimed at flexitarians and those intolerant to lactose, which is kind of interesting wording. I think there was another, I don't know if I clipped it, but one of these other stories from the weather report had something where they said this was kind of aiming at flexitarians with the thing, even though it was a vegan product. So it's just interesting that that's sort of the stated like market is flexitarians rather than this is for vegans or even vegetarians. I don't know.
I think if flexitarians focus more on meat than dairy.
Yeah, I would think so too. I think a flexitarian is like a often omnivore, sometimes vegetarian, not necessarily someone who's going to be vegan very much. But yeah, in this case, that's what they say. So we will see See what happens. All right, here we go. The Beyond Burger is their new product. It's only in the UK, unfortunately. So 2 things in a row that are only for the Europeans. The spicy Beyond Burger Jalapeno, it's called. And they point out here, Veg Economist does, that Beyond Meat, their strongest market is Europe still. And so my first thought was, what are they doing? Like, why are you putting out these weird things? Like, just get the core business right. But I guess one of the moves that you would do if you have a strong business in a certain market, you figure out how can you sell more in that market, and that's what they're doing.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm like, they say, okay, the burger is described as irresistibly juicy and delivering a spicy kick. So not really much information there. Includes meat eaters, flexitarians, and vegans. So again, flexitarians are mentioned here, who the market is for. Yeah, I don't know. There's a growing trend for spicy foods in the UK, they say. And I don't know. Like, I was when I had an Impossible Burger this Monday at someone's house. It was very good. It was nice. I saw they also had regular burgers there, and they had like 2 different varieties of the packaged, well, not packaged, like grocery store wrapped up burgers, but like they're made with little cheese pieces in there, and I don't know if it was mango or some kind of other thing in the burger. This kind of reminds me of that, right? They're selling a ground beef mimicking product with other stuff in there. I assume there's jalapeno chunks in there. It's not just some sort of like saucy flavoring. I don't know why I don't really like that move. Like, I just think, like, if you want a spicy burger, just buy regular Beyond Burger and put the jalapeno on the burger or hot sauce on the burger.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I've never actually seen a meat burger that had that kind of thing in it already. I mean, a jalapeno burger sounds great. Like that, I would love to eat a jalapeno burger, but I would make a burger and then put jalapenos on top. Maybe add some spice or something like that to the mix as you're like grounding it up or like mixing it up. But I don't know. That seems kind of weird, because like, what if not everybody you're cooking for wants a jalapeno burger?
Right. No, I couldn't buy this for our family because the kids won't want spicy food, and neither will Aaron probably.
Yeah, so, exactly. I don't think Katie would eat it. So I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me that you would. It doesn't seem like it would save that much time, and it really limits who's going to buy it.
Yeah, it's a strange move here. I don't really understand this. Like, what? Well, obviously, it's a much bigger deal to go figure out how to make Beyond chicken wings or something. But like, go do something like another meat that's interesting to me, rather than just dress up this one. Are they gonna make a ketchup burger next, or mustard, so you don't need to add that? It's just automatically in there for you.
I mean, that'd be nice.
It's not that different from that.
It's like a Crustable, pre-made peanut butter jelly sandwich, a pre-made hamburger that you just got everything on it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
what's your
ahead of times?
Taborlin.
So
the restaurants upcharging for Impossible Beyond patties grinds my gears, like coffee shops and plant-based milk. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it is annoying. I mean, I don't really ever let it bother me, largely because I'm always relieved to find an option there for myself, wherever that might be. I don't know. What annoys me more is like if I want to go to a pizza place and if they have a vegan cheese and I have to pay $2 extra for the cheese plus like $2 for every other topping, suddenly the pizza that was going to be $9 is $16, and it's just because I put one topping and a vegan cheese in there. So that bothers me. Yeah, it seems dumb. I mean, it'd be nice if the restaurants could just like the milk, as Taborlin also says, like coffee shops, plant-based milks. Like, it'd be nice if they said, well, we want to sort of encourage people to do this move, even if it's not going to be extra profitable for us. Why not just eat a little bit of extra cost? I don't know. I mean, I get why they don't. That's not what they're in business for. They want to make profit, not save the world. So I understand it, but a little annoying. What about you, Doug? Bothered by that?
It turns me off a little bit as well, but I don't feel exactly the same as I would about plant-based milk. I mean, to me, a lot of people are drinking plant-based milk at coffee shops. Like, that's a very common thing to offer now and to have, and people take advantage of it. And I'm not sure it's really that much more expensive. It might be pennies more expensive than like half and half, right?
It could be about the same price in many cases.
My guess is that an Impossible Burger, because they're just buying such low quantity, is probably almost certainly more expensive than a massive pack of ground beef that they buy for their other burgers.
Right. Definitely.
And so, upcharging a little bit, like it makes a little bit more sense for the Impossible Burger to me, but it is unfortunate. I would rather them have like an Impossible, like a thing on their menu item that says, vegan burger or whatever, and have that one be, $1 or $2 more expensive, but with a bunch of other ingredients and a bunch of other toppings that sound good.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You feel less heated that way.
Right. Yeah. All right, moving on. New Moo has emerged from stealth mode. I don't remember us talking about New Moo before, but we probably did. That's NEWMOO. They've unveiled a plant molecular farming platform that produces caseins, which is the milk protein that is, I guess, not that easy to do because it seems like a lot of people make plant-based or vegan whey, animal-free whey, I should call it. But you don't see a lot of animal-free casein just yet. But they're producing it in agricultural plant seeds. So we just talked about this. I think it was that last Thursday, talking about people growing things inside a potato, or was that yesterday?
That was last week.
Okay. Yeah. So they're saying basically that they're not, the plant seed is the bioreactor. So I have no idea how all this stuff works, but clearly you can grow plant proteins or animal proteins out of plant products inside of other plants, which is just mind blowing that happens, especially on the scale of
so
seeds.
Weird.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, it's another Israeli startup. I think that's who was doing the potatoes as well. A different Israeli startup. Yeah, they're saying casein is considered the holy grail of milk structure by the dairy industry. That's what I was kind of getting at. It seems like a very important one that they just haven't really done on a large scale with plant-based products yet. These caseins would be equivalent to the cow-derived proteins in terms of nutrition, composition, and functionality. So that's probably the molecularly equivalent terminology that you hear with the animal-free whey. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens next with that, and just what else stuff keeps rolling out, because it's just crazy what's going on. I just don't believe it.
I like New Moo. I like the name.
New Moo, yeah, it's not bad. We'll see. I'm still waiting for that cheese, that one that's going to just knock everybody's socks off and say, there's no benefit to eating regular cheese anymore. This is just as good. And then the world switches to it, which would be wonderful.
What would that cheese be? Like a cheddar, an American slice? Like what? Like if you were going to say, this is the cheese, like a brie, like a slicing cheese, or like a cheese you put on a sandwich?
Look, if they can do it with one, I'm sure it's not going to be hard till they can make it orange and then make a white one, and then it's, you have all the cheeses, all the common cheeses. But when I'm picturing shredded cheese that people put on pizza, because that just has not done the trick yet.
Like
that's what we do. I guess that would, yeah, that's what that would be.
Not a Mexican blend.
No, I don't think of the Mexican blend. Although I do want like the sandwich sliced cheese as well. Whatever. And honestly, if they made a mozzarella one, that's fine. Just use the same thing put it in the shape of a slice, and I probably wouldn't notice the difference.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That would be great. Pizza cheese.
I think it's coming. I think it's gonna be soon, this year. All right. Lidl Netherlands has put on their scientist hat. They did some research on their own shelves, along with one university, Wageningen University and World Resources Institute, and they found that placing meat alternatives next to conventional meat significantly boosts their sales. We've talked about this a little bit, whether the meat should be with the other meats or in its own section, and I think we more or less concluded putting it next to the other meat is going to sell more. It's just not quite as convenient for vegans who kind of like having all the vegan stuff in one place, because then you can just go there and know that everything's vegan. But anyway, they said the sales of the meat alternatives increased by 7% during the time when they put the things next to it. It doesn't sound like they A/B tested it. It's not like it's not clear. It just says sales of meat alternatives increased by 7% during this time. So I'd like to know, did they also in some stores put them in a separate place, or did they just move it all to this, next to the meat for 6 months and then see what happened? Because that could just be changing appetites for plant-based meat during the period. So hopefully they did the test better than that, and just the article's wording is making it sound like they didn't. But anyway, I mean, it's kind of cool, 7% increase. So they were planning to do that. They want to improve the visibility, taste, and healthiness of their meat alternatives by the end of the year. I'm sure it's part of some other goal. Yeah, it is. 60% of their protein sales plant-based by 2030. That's their goal. So
I think that Ingles has moved beyond all their Beyond and Impossible stuff out of the meat aisles and just now has it in the like vegan food aisle.
yeah, I mean, there are definitely some stores that still do that.
Okay, well that's good.
But I mean, I don't know. I've seen some that are next to it. I've seen some that aren't. So
the and Just Egg now is no longer with the eggs anymore. It's with some sort of.
Wonder if there was a big pushback with that somewhere that they're finding people, even if it sells more of that particular product. Because they don't say the other end here, which I guess is maybe not significant. But what happens to the conventional meat sales when the plant-based meat is right next to it? Like, does it upset people and people just tend to have less appetite for it? I don't know. Or do they buy less conventional meat because the space is taken up by the other stuff, plant-based? I don't know. Did I lose you, Doug?
You did, but I'm back. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'd think that the store would just want to sell stuff, not care about where, what's where. So you'd think they would put it wherever it's going to sell the best.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I think you signed off from this. If you put the plant-based stuff next to the regular meat, you're taking up space for more regular meat in that spot. So
I see. Yeah. It's
not just like they think, oh, we'll sell more if we put it here, because you might not sell overall more. You might lose money if you sell less of the other stuff. So I don't really know. Anyway, if we ever open up a grocery store, Doug, we'll get into these kind of problems and optimizing shelf space and all that. All right, I promised you an Oatly update, and here it is. I got really excited in a bad way at first because they partnered with Patagonia, who's one of my other, like, if I had to list my 3 least favorite advertising brands in the world, it'd be
Let me see if I can guess.
Patagonia.
REI, Patagonia, and Oatly?
Yeah, REI would be number 3. Okay. So these are people whose ads I just hate. They're cringeworthy. I hate the billboard that said opt outside or whatever, and they crossed out day in, day out, day in, day out, and they cross out day in and just put day out on there. Like, you indoor people, terrible. And they just always doing stuff to look good. And it's always, look how great we are, look how friendly we are. Like, do some nice thing, and then massive publicity campaign to show everybody what nice thing we did. It wasn't Patagonia the one where the founder sold that thing and I called that it was some sort of scam, and it turned out it was a tax shelter thing for him. Gave away his own. Donated to Planet Earth.
You got a massive tax break from it, but that's not a scam. That's what rich people do, Matt. Right. You do the same thing.
Okay, but it was couched in the messaging of he donated it to Planet Earth, his fortune. And that's people couldn't believe generosity. Okay, so they've partnered together to mobilize EU citizens to vote. So I'm not opposed to mobilizing people to vote. I'm glad that's happening, I guess. They want to vote in a way that benefits the planet in the upcoming European Parliament elections, which I didn't know were happening. But anyway, that's it. I saw one ad from Oatly, a picture in the article. It said "vote," VOAT, and I wasn't too offended by that. It was fine as far as Oatly ads go. That didn't bother me very much at all. But it didn't look like it was a collaboration ad. It just looked like it was just an Oatly ad telling people to vote. So anyway, I'm curious to see what they produce together, if anything. Not really looking forward to it, honestly. I just hate those 2 companies advertising.
Anne-Marie just bought her Patagonia vest at the REI annual sale. Oh, headed straight to Whole Foods and picked up a jar of oil-free Oatly too.
Britta's also into the Patagonia shorts. Man, okay. These people are not who I thought they were, to be honest.
Patagonia clothing is like the best outdoor clothing for...
You're not supposed to buy it, though. Remember they ran an ad saying, don't buy this shirt?
Yeah, well, you buy it, and then you send it back and get it fixed.
What?
You buy it, but then you send it back when you've worn it through, and you get it fixed.
Okay. I thought the ad was more about not being a consumer at all of things and just opting out, and just completely ridiculous that a company would advertise that. And it turns out it drives a ton of sales.
They fix stuff.
Right. Except it also happened to sell a ton of the shirt.
I talked over you. I didn't hear what you said.
I said it also happened to sell a ton of the shirt that they supposedly didn't want people to buy.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
All right, 2 more in this weather report. Plant-based brand. It looks like Hura, but I think I heard plant-based news, blanking on the name when they were on our show. But anyway, they called it Eura. So there's a Spanish name. I guess the British people are saying the Spanish pronunciation. Anyway, they've launched a pop-up butcher's shop selling only vegan meat, and they're going to have various locations in France where they do this. I think it's a Barcelona-based brand, but so it's odd that they're doing it in France, this stuff. But at 3 Paris hypermarkets at the end of May and early June, in this shop, and I saw a picture of the shop. The link is there, Doug. If you feel like pulling it up, you don't have to. It's not that big a deal. But they just show like a little like butcher case, and inside there's this big variety of different plant-based meat products. It looks like a normal butcher, but it's all plant-based. And it says try a wide range of their plant-based meat, including mince, chicken burgers, and the newly released ham slices. And I thought I would love to run into one of these pop-ups somewhere, because I just think it'd be so nice to get that variety of vegan meats. I feel like I don't know why. It seems like we're sort of still restricted in our choices. Like there's tons of brands, but they're mostly all making the same stuff. So to see sort of a butcher array of stuff, I like that.
You're fairly down on vegan meats right now. You're fairly vocal about that. Would you be excited? I mean, you just said you would, but you would be excited if you went to a place and they had a vegan butcher shop?
Yeah, I would, because as I've admitted on here, I think some of my being down on these plant-based meats is just that I'm like kind of tired of the same ones. And whenever we see something good, a new place has a new burrito or whatever with pulled pork style vegan meat, I'm like, well, that seems pretty good. I'd try that. So I think it's just the variety is currently lacking, and maybe it will forever lack, or for a while, because it is still a niche product. So yeah, I think that's partly what's behind my recent negativity. It's just that I'm bored with them.
There's
but I am trying to eat less of them because of health reasons too.
There's a caterer for a wedding caterer in upstate New York that or Western New York that has a really, really good vegan chicken that is just like the real thing.
Yeah. Indistinguishable, huh?
Indistinguishable from the real thing.
Nice. Good. All right. Well, if you missed the show yesterday, that is in reference to that one. So go listen to that one where you can find out about Doug accidentally eating real chicken. All right. Last one. A little bit of controversy, a little brouhaha happening from a Tesco brand vegan soup. Tesco is a big chain. I think the biggest chain in the UK. We hear about them all the time doing vegan things. In this case, a lentil and vegetable bolognese was in the aisles of a local community shop. So it wasn't in a Tesco, but it was a Tesco branded product. And I saw a picture of the can, had a big sticker on it that said, let me find that thing. It said, may contain meat not suitable for vegetarians and vegans. So it was there. It was just put on top of the can, covering up other text on this thing that someone said they'd been buying for a while as their plant-based vegetable bolognese thing. I guess it's not a soup. It's more of a sauce you'd put on something, but it's in a can. Anyway, the baffled shopper took to Reddit with their find, asking if it was a, quote, common recall. And I don't think anyone else said, yes, I saw this thing. Some people advise the person not to buy canned goods if you're really concerned about or not to buy these canned sauces and things like, if you're going to buy a made product like this, you better make it yourself if you want to make sure it's vegan. I don't think that's really good advice, because lots of, whatever it's called, produced, processed things are vegan, and we buy them and we trust that they are. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It just seems weird. Like, I just wondered, was this did the company do this? Is it really that, or is just some rogue thing and it happened to be at someone else selling a secondhand can of this in a store, and some employee stuck a sticker on there, who knows what, or someone just did it just to get on Reddit. I don't know. So not much to say about it other than a little bit of a brewing controversy. We'll keep our eye on it.
Check back into that Reddit post daily. See what the latest is.
I'm not going to check back in there, but if it explodes over all the headlines the way the Dunkin' Donuts fake donut thing did, it'd be good to know that we were on it early. We were on that story too. Okay. Vegan Stallion also says Patagonia is one of the only brands that is truly great. I don't know who these people are. I thought I knew these people. I thought we shared a lot of values, and now I'm doubting all of that. KDC says poor Doug, I guess, from eating the chicken. She also put LOL, poor Doug, though, before saying his expense. Doug recently is on a little streak of eating non-vegan things accidentally. All right, there we go. So that's the weather report, and we got time for our other article today, which I titled the show in acknowledgement of, and that is a veg news article. We don't do many veg news articles recently, maybe because their stuff always seems like it's written for search engines, but this one says experts weigh in on Netflix's Hack Your Health recommendation to eat 20 types of plants a week. Have you watched Hack Your Health, Doug?
No, I have not even heard of it. This was new to me. Have you?
Yeah, I think it's been there like over a month. And it's a gut health thing. I just have never wanted to watch it. I don't know why. I'm not interested in gut health. It's like everyone says it's the hot thing. I understand it. We have a product for it. I get it, but it just isn't interesting to me at all. I don't know why. Some people are fascinated by it. Do you care about gut health, Doug, or are you just like me?
I kind of subscribe to the idea that if I eat a bunch of plants in a well-balanced diet, then my gut is going to be fine.
Right. And that's probably all you need to know. They tell you don't need probiotics. I mean, I don't know about this show, but the people that I trust and listen to say you don't need probiotics. It's kind of a scam for the most part. You seed your gut with lots and lots of prebiotics, the plants, and then what's supposed to happen will happen. And I think if you're eating whole foods and not a bunch of junk, especially so, what was supposed to happen will happen. And as I said earlier, that's generally the case. Not if you eat hummus with a red film on top of it, that messes it up. But now I know better than to do that. All right, yeah. So I don't know. I
do think there are times when you, like after antibiotics, if you're sick, things like that, when probably, fortifying your gut health is a good thing.
Yeah, there's probably times to do that for sure. Anyway, this documentary, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be one of those runaway hits. Sometimes the health ones there are. Maybe because gut health doesn't inherently like favor a certain diet, and it's not clear from the title of this which diet it's going to favor. So you don't get any really passionate people involved in pushing it and all that. So I don't know. I mean, from our end, I think, plant-based is good for gut health. I'm sure the carnivores will say there's something that's good for gut health too. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that they will. So anyway, maybe that's why it just hasn't really made big splashes. But anyway, Veg News is covering it. They talk about the gut being like a second brain, mention how your mood can dump or soar depending on how your gut's doing. Then they get into some tips, and they say in this documentary, I guess they give the tip to 20 to 30 different types of plants per week. Is that what Dr. B's thing is, Doug? Is it 20 to 30? Or
I think it was 30. I think it was 30. more than 20 for sure.
Have you counted that up before? I think we probably talked about this years ago.
Yeah, we did a gut week challenge, something like that around Gut Nurture's launch. And I think what we were going for was 100 plants, and I got it. 100 plants in a week.
Wow.
Because that includes some herbs and stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yep. Do the herbs they count as a total of full point, right?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
This is in Dr. B's thing. He has like a plant points system that might be a little different from just counting them. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, it's fun to do that exercise, because if you eat like a plant-based diet and you eat a fairly varied one, it's fun to see how fast those things add up. Like you think, well, I might only have 10 plants in a week, but then you start counting them and you realize you get like 50 or something. So yeah, in that way, it feels good. Reminds you that you're doing a good thing with your eating. If this actually is a good thing, and I'm not completely sold on the idea that we need all this variety of stuff. But anyway, we'll get on to that in a minute. So they recommend some foods that you can get, the recommended plants for a healthy gut microbiome. I feel like it's been 3 shows in a row now where we just list off foods and then talk about them. So let's not dilly dally on them. But their list here is vegetables, fruit, legumes and pulses, whole grains, nuts and seeds, fermented foods. So
basically every plant.
Yeah. I mean, this seems like any other list. This could be any other category list of good, healthy foods. It could be your fiber foods, it could be your whatever, and you're going to get this. Same.
Are there any healthy Are there any healthy plant foods that don't fall in one of those categories?
Nuts and seeds, grains, legumes and pulses, fruit, vegetables. Well, mushrooms aren't really a vegetable.
Okay.
So yeah, mushrooms are not in that thing.
Wait, greens aren't in here.
Well, greens are vegetables.
Oh yeah, right, of course.
Yeah, and they don't mention specifically cruciferous or specifically greens. Actually, no, they do mention cruciferous actually as they talk about it. Yeah, I think mushrooms is your only one missing. You could have a fermented mushroom thing for sure.
Yeah.
So fermented foods. Yeah, I mean, I have 10 foods worth eating every single day, or 7 foods worth eating every single day, depending on which version of the cruise you went to. And it had all these things. Didn't have fermented foods, I don't think, but everything else was on there because that's what the healthy foods are. So anyway, that's your list of stuff that you want to compose your 30 or more things out of, or I guess 20 to 30 or more. Then they got some practical tips. Plan your meals around plants. That's one thing they say to do. I guess if you don't already follow a fully plant-based diet, then you plan them around the plants, and that will allow you to automatically to get a whole bunch more plants, because you're probably not going to just, if you make a vegetarian or vegan pasta dish and you're not normally a vegetarian or vegan, chances are there's going to be more than one new vegetable in that thing. There will be likely several things in there that you wouldn't get if you just had a piece of meat on the plate. So there's that. They said include a vegetable or fruit at every single meal, and then use legumes and whole grains as your staples. I would say most of us probably eat that way, because I don't know how else you would eat, honestly, unless you're eating a lot of like fake meat stuff. Number 2, snack smart. Instead of sticking to one handful of almonds every day, that's kind of like what my snack is. Try snacking on a variety of whole foods, from nuts and seeds to vegetable sticks and dips, etc. The more diverse your diet, the more diverse your gut, they say. And yeah, not too much else to say about that one. And finally, experiment with cooking, which we kind of alluded to earlier. Make something new. Pick a vegetable you don't usually eat. Go get it, and then find a recipe for it. Or reverse the order. Pick one you don't usually eat. Find a recipe for it, then go get the things you need, so you don't need to make a second trip to the store. So yeah, there's your tips. Look, if you look at the Blue Zones things, and I love the Blue Zones, you know that. I always quote them. I always talk about them. I use them for arguments. If you accept that that's a really good way of deciding what's healthy, finding the people who live the longest and look at what they eat, they don't have massive, I don't think most of those things even have 30 foods in their like typical diet. And when I think naturally humans evolving, like, were people eating 30 foods? Is that what our body's used to doing in a week? And I don't really think so. I think we probably found 1 to 3 things that there was a ton of in an area, and you mostly just eat that. And maybe they would have some extra flavorings and things. I don't really know. But I don't think you get to 30 very easily in that way. Yeah, and Doug, I saw you making a face at the Blue Zones thing. It's one of the Blue Zones books has like a picture of all the foods. I think it's the Blue Zones kitchen. They give you a picture of each group, each Blue Zone, and they're like typical foods. And some of them have 15, maybe some of them get up to 30. I don't know. But they're talking about every single week. I mean, I guess you get the same 30 every single week. But in general, the Blue Zones are not big, diverse diets. And I've heard that much from a long time ago, before this discussion. Like Okinawa, I mean, it's a lot of sweet potatoes. There's purple sweet potatoes. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff. That's the standout thing. But like, it's just not a ton of things. It's like 10 things they eat. So maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe if you actually go there and live there, there'd be all kinds of herbs and things that aren't making it into the book. And just like we had parsley and stuff to our stuff, and we'll count that for an extra point, maybe they've got 3 other things that they do. But I'm just remaining not quite convinced of this thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just not fully convinced that this is important.
Interesting. That's interesting. Interesting argument that I haven't really considered, honestly, because 30 just seems like so few to me. Because I think 30 in 2 days is probably what I eat in general.
Right.
But maybe you're right. I mean, I guess so. Like if you're limited to what you're growing yourself, probably much harder. Or like what's growing in your area,
right?
Probably much harder.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Interesting idea.
Yeah, and then I wondered where did this rule come from? Did someone just make it up, or did someone say, well, variety is good, and then I'm going to count how many I eat in a typical day in my new modern lifestyle where I've got foods trucked in from all over the place, and I'm going to see how many I do, and then I'm just going to say that's the gold standard. The gold standard everyone should try to get. Or is there actual science? Is someone saying, well, each food contributes this many things, and there's such and such amount of overlap. So by the time you get up to 20 or 30, there's really not much additional benefit you're getting from other ones. So let's cap it at that as the max. I just like to see this sort of methodology where that came from. That might also explain some things.
Let's see if we can find it. Or if someone has it, be sure to share it with us.
Yes, please do that. Somebody. I'll look into it too. All right. Let's see. Britter says, what streaming platform? Borland says Netflix. That's for this show. I think it's called Hack Your Health. Again, I don't know if it's a plant-based specific show, but the fact that Veg News is covering it means it must get their stamp of approval. KDC says it's better to eat the veggies first than your carbs and proteins afterwards to coat the tummy for digestion and energy levels. So I don't know about that one either. I'm not saying it's wrong. You hear a lot about food combining stuff that some people just swear by that is important. Like I think it was don't mix protein with fats or carbs. All kinds of different rules you can find with food combining. And it largely has been debunked, that stuff. I think the idea of not drinking water with meals also largely debunked. It's fine to do it. But I don't know about this. To coat the stomach first with things, that kind of makes some sense, that the first thing your stomach gets is what would trigger the most enzymes or whatever. And then I have no idea. But interesting. If you want to justify that for us, Katie, love to read why. She also says you don't need to watch it if you're whole foods plant-based. This is also from Katie. She's talking about the documentary. But the food grouping for how to eat in groups is interesting. I've heard people talk about that before. And I think perhaps that's one of the reasons gut health has never been particularly interesting. We mentioned at the beginning that like plant-based seems to be a good fit for gut health. And I think if you read those books and you try to boil it down, it ends up being like eat a lot of whole plants. And if you're already doing that, you don't really need to try or anything. So it doesn't seem that exciting. Like there must be a bunch of opportunity and like, wow, if I can optimize my gut health, it's going to get so much better, because you're probably already doing a really good job of it if you're just eating a plant-based diet and not trying to optimize your gut health. So maybe that's why it just doesn't seem that interesting.
Do you know where I bet gut health is not a popular subject? In the carnivore community.
Well, that's what I said. I bet they would perhaps argue that their diet is better for gut health. I mean, surely they would, because that's what they do. But yeah, maybe they don't talk about it much because maybe it's just not one of the strong points. I really don't know, unless they've figured out reasons why supposedly it's a strong point. Who knows? All right, Vegan Science says I created my own fiber blend, which I consume every morning. That reminds me of something from the article that I skimmed past very quickly. I saw it when I was preparing. Anyway, he says mostly psyllium and flax, but a bunch of other plant fibers, including resistant starch from green banana flour, acacia fiber, etc. Yeah, I mean, look at it. That's if you buy into this idea that you need a big wide variety of stuff and you need to focus on gut health, then those are the things that people would tell you to do. Resistant starch. That appears to be, to me, to be a very valid idea. I think some beans include a lot of resistant starch. So I have not worried about that too much. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to mention, apparently in the movie, they feature a smoothie recipe that uses 60 different fruits, vegetables, and herbs. It says they give it a big chunk of airtime. It's designed to deliver a wide range of nutrients for a healthy gut. And then Veg News, I think smartly says, while good in theory, this extra thick smoothie, which contains everything from Brussels sprouts to russet potatoes to persimmons, is not feasible or palatable to many. So how does one go about consuming 20 to 30 plants per week?
That's so ridiculous. Like that pisses me off. Like it's so ridiculous that they would say eat 30. Now we're going to teach you how to make 60 in this way that's going to feel way overwhelming and time consuming and expensive, and you're never going to do it. So therefore, yeah, just don't do anything. like that makes me mad. Like I hate it when health people do that.
I know. And I think it's probably a really smart thing on the part of the documentary to put that in, because now it's this thing to be talked about. And maybe they hope that would catch on and people would strive to do it. And that would be the thing that puts this film on the map. So yeah, I mean, like people want that. They want that thing. And it's so dumb, like you said, because it's so impractical. And as we've kind of said the opposite, like you maybe don't even really need to try that much. And you're just going to get to 30 or 60 or whatever naturally in a week if you just try to focus on eating whole plant foods.
Right.
So this smoothie with potatoes in it and persimmons in it and a bunch of crazy stuff that no one eats. I don't know. It's just like you, it is annoying.
You know, it
Like
would
you.
make a good YouTube video though.
Yeah, you for surely would.
I drank the Hack Your Health smoothie for 30 days, and this is what happened. And it's just all about how you went bankrupt.
That would be good. Why don't you do that, Doug?
Okay. You gonna pay for it?
Well, we'll see what it costs. I mean, yeah, we need good content. That's what we need. I think we shouldn't just try to put out YouTube shorts that are clips. I know we need to at least do that, and I need to get on that. But like, I think we need to make better. I think we need to do that. We need ideas for things. Say we're going to do this goofy challenge or whatever, and then we're going to put it on YouTube.
Okay, and let's. The
boy wonders how much the smoothie would cost, and that's a great question because if you put 60 things in there, it's got to be a tiny amount of each one. So you're probably going to end up with a bunch of waste, right? Like even if you had parsley in there as one of your things, it says a bunch of herbs. Like if you're buying that fresh and you can only put enough because you got to fit 60 ingredients in it, I'm sure your bunch of parsley is going to go bad before you get through it.
Totally. All right.
Similar with your,
I'm gonna read through the first 20 ingredients here. Okay. Red lettuce, green lettuce, spinach, purple kale, green kale, dinosaur kale, carrot top greens, purple carrots, orange carrots, cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, zucchini, avocado, radish, dates. This is ridiculous. Blueberries, Brussels sprouts.
A lot of it's just the same food, just a bunch of varieties of it. It's like someone just said, I gotta figure out a way to list all the vegetables.
Peach, mango, apple, broccoli, persimmon, lemon, pomegranate. This is there's no way.
If you stop there, right? If you stop there and say make that smoothie, I'm like that's a nightmare to try to make that thing and buy all that stuff, and that's less than a third of it that you read. Terrible.
That is so crazy. I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna do it.
Or they just said, "Here's an idea." All right.
All right.
We'll revisit it. Maybe every day for a whole month we'll revisit this. Matt O'Connor says, add chin-ups to the 60-ingredient smoothie challenge and you've got social media gold, Doug. So you need to be our guy who does this, along with pull-ups. And we need to see if your pull-ups number improves as a result of this.
You know what I'm going to do right after the show?
What?
I'm going to go pump some iron because Plant-Palooza is done. I'm going to take a little afternoon break.
Oh, yeah? So you're going to pump iron for your break? Look at that. Idleness is the holiday of fools, says Doug.
That's right.
All right, good for you. I mean, it's better than sitting on the couch, maybe. All right. Last couple comments to hit here. KDC says, I think she was talking about the stomach coating thing, the eating of the veggies first. She says it secretes higher levels of GLP-1, which is a satiety hormone. That's why Olive Garden wants you to eat bread first. And probably why like a crab feast, they used to load you up with a million other fried things before. Well, that wasn't actually. Wait, I'm confused. If Olive Garden gives you bread because they want you to be filled up, I was thinking, but then the eating technique would do the same thing, so that you have higher satiety and you don't overeat. But she's saying eat the veggies first. That's different from what Olive Garden does. So I don't fully understand, Katie. I'm confused, but thank you for providing justification. Ritter says, reminds me how Zach Miller just mixed basically every sport gel on the market in a big bowl. Looked so gross. I don't know what that is or what that was. What's a sport gel? Oh, those things. Oh, he just ate that? Like energy gels?
Yeah, he got sponsored by The Feed, which sells a bunch of different gels, and he had them send one of everything and blended it all together. It was pretty funny. It was good.
Okay. Yeah, but that's supposed to be funny, right? That's not actual nutrition advice.
No. Oh, man. The huge ultramarathon controversy right now, the Spring energy gel. Do you know Spring?
No.
They're like they're like cleaner ingredients, not quite like that. Well, they have one's called Awesome Sauce that is wildly popular. Okay. And somebody got it tested and it has like half of the carbs and half the calories is what's on the package and all this stuff. And That's like become a huge controversy in the last 24 hours in the ultra space. But
Wow.
what's interesting is they didn't test any other ones. So I'd love to know, like, if goo is actually what it says it is, or is that just kind of what happens when you have a big batch of something and split it up, that like every pack is going to be a little different?
I mean, if they're mixing it at all appropriately, I don't think there'd be
Shouldn't.
any variation, right? Like half the amount, right? It just wouldn't happen. Maybe you get 5% or something, but that seems crazy. Yeah, I do wonder about, and like, I mean, even non-energy gel companies who report their nutrition packs, like, isn't there some sort of procedure where that stuff gets tested and updated and you kind of get audited in some way? Or is that just, we just trust the company? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though. It'll be interesting to see what happens. As British says that apparently there's a GoFundMe now raising money to test other gels.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, good. Well, nice long show today. Went for a whole hour with little. I mean, no, it wasn't little content. It was just only one article. But anyway, good. Thank you everyone for all the engagement, because that allows us to talk a lot more. I mean, I guess that's the goal. I don't know if people want to hear longer content, then participating, you can lengthen it. So yeah. So thanks everybody for that. As always, it's a pleasure to do this when people are here and engaging and conversing and stuff. So yeah, thanks again. Tomorrow's Thursday, last week of my daughter's school. I'm pretty pumped. She had pink hair today for the kickball tournament.
Oh boy.
It's in the winding down where they don't do anything. They watch shows and things, Phineas and Ferb and such during the day. They're just killing time till the end of the year.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's also like, because no one's going to like learn math today on the last day of school, but also it's like, I mean, why not just end it early?
Right. Why are we doing this? Right. We should go on vacation or something by now.
Mm.
Maybe you got to set the deadlines to get everything done, and they get it all done, and then you got to build in some extra time. And if you stay on track, then there's extra time at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the
vid, and thanks to Mr. Jeffrey, someone else, 2 other people who immediately left comments yesterday. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
I love that. And keep it up.
And hello to Eric. Eric says, love the show. I don't know if that's a normal new guy. I mean, if that's a new guy, if that's an old person, but simple name like Eric, probably one I'd recognize. So sounds like a new person. Thank you, Eric, for your support. Thanks for coming. Glad you like it. All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday. That's where we make faces at the end, because we need to have a pause at the end.
You can't do the same face every time, though. That's the same one you did like 2 weeks ago. You got to do something different.
Okay. Well, we have to do that, everybody, because the recording cuts off too early. So we have to have extra time at the end of the show. And Doug said, let's make faces during that time so we can get YouTube screenshots. So that's what that was. So get used to it. All right.